Welcome to Pep Talk with Wendy Summers. This portion of the Pensacola Expert Panel is sponsored and presented by the Financial Futures Show and your host, Eric Niederlenner, who is responsible for the content. Views expressed do not necessarily represent those of News Radio 1620.
News Radio 1620. Rob Williams filling in for Wendy Summers. Let's talk about some, Pensacola Expert Panel. Want to talk about money? I got your attorney, Eric Niederlenner, bankruptcy attorney. No, boy, it's it's one of those people that's kind of like a tourniquet or a fire extinguisher. When you need them in a big hurry. Eric, good morning. Welcome back to News Radio 1620 and the Pensacola Expert Panel.
Good morning. It's good to be back. I had to take a break. Last time I was on, I had court in Mobile, so had to be over there. And judges take precedent over radio shows.
Yes.
So had to be there, but I think we're making it up next week, the 19th, I believe. So.
Well, now you're looking like you got a little mileage on you already this morning. Why would that be, Eric?
Well, I stayed the night over in Gulf Shores, went to the Buffett show. Been a wild weekend. And Blues on Saturday and Buffett on Sunday. So got a little sun in, and that's good. I need a tan. So.
Yeah, I mean, mostly you're like in the middle of those law libraries with a lot of books and so forth. It's,
right. I don't know. My office doesn't have a window, so I don't see the
light of day. That allows you to focus on the client's needs, which is what it's really all about. His website is, by the way, shouldifileforbankruptcy.com. It may not be the longest name of a website, but by golly, it's got to be pretty close. Let's see, 28 characters or thereabout. Yeah. And one of those things when you, in fact, I would bet under the economic circumstances, you probably are getting a few more inquiries than you otherwise normally would, perhaps.
Oh, definitely. You know, unfortunately, this last year and a half, that it's really been busy with the economy and not many jobs around here. It's definitely something that's at the forefront of people's minds, and it's always good to try to jump on it, get ahead of it instead of waiting and letting the bills and calls and lawsuits pile up, and just find out your rights and find out your options. Sometimes bankruptcy is the way to go, sometimes it's not. But we offer a free consultation so people can come in and talk to us and see their situation from maybe a different perspective, and get some fresh ideas on how to tackle their issues.
Because every time they walk in, you start with a clean legal pad. That's why you buy them by the boxes, I suppose, because you start with a clean legal pad, but you factor in, they're telling you what they've got, and you factor in your experience and work out a solution right there.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you're writing a paragraph or something, and you read it the way you want it written down, but maybe you misspelled some words or left some words out or something, and if you're constantly looking at your finances, it sometimes helps to get somebody to proofread it or to look at it from a different perspective and take a different angle and help you out.
Well, I got on that. Now, there are obviously some trigger points for bankruptcy, and that you at least it raises its ugly head on occasion, but there really are some points in the whole process of economics, of personal home economics and the family budget and so forth. What are some of those triggers?
Well, I think you should seriously consider bankruptcy if you cannot budget your debt and pay it off within 8 to 12 months. That's the rule of thumb I go by, and when the creditors start calling, if you're living off the credit cards, it's sometimes a necessity if you've lost a job, or because most of the people that come to my office, they're in their situation for normally one of three reasons. They either lost their job, had a major medical problem not covered by insurance, or recently divorced, or a combination of the three.
Right.
And the situation where maybe they're hurt on the job or lost their job, or more recently lost their overtime that they were kind of counting on as a guaranteed income, they think it's temporary or just short term, and they start using the credit cards to buy the food and pay the mortgages, and the credit cards get maxed out. They're still out of the job and can't make the credit card payments because the minimum payment's gone up. They've cut down the credit card companies have cut down their credit limit, and the house of cards kind of comes crashing in.
Yeah, no, although Congress really has gotten in the credit card companies' faces and changed a lot of the ways they have to do business, and they have to give you more time, and things got to be really specific in terms of you have 3 weeks to pay this bill must be here by such and such a date, and then they haven't put all that other consumer mumbo jumbo on there. And frankly, over the years, I don't know of anyone who really has not been, other than my mom and dad who hardly ever use credit cards, that somebody always gets a little upside down in something, or they get a month, they get 2 months late on something, and it's kind of a big gulp and a rather sobering experience for some. Now, if the companies are ready to lock you in at a rate, and the rate may go off for, a friend of mine's paying stuff off over 48 months. Right. He's paying $600-700 a month for 48 months to get out of the hole, but I guess he's doing that rather than declare bankruptcy. Would he be better off just pulling the plug on that deal and saying, hey, $20,000 in credit cards, boom, blowing it off?
Probably not if that's his only bill and he's able to make those payments. You should always use bankruptcy as a last resort, because one of the things with a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is liquidation, it wipes out the unsecured debts and lets you start over, is you can't file again for 8 years.
Right, and that screws up your credit for an extensive period of time as well, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be on your credit report for 10 years, but, with that one bill that your friend has, if he can make those payments and that's the only bill, then, making those payments is probably going to be in his best interest, because you never know what might happen. He may have some major medical problem or something 2 years down the road, and he filed bankruptcy for this one credit card. He may have to wait another 8 years or so.
But there are other chapters. We talk about big companies that are doing this chapter, that chapter, for people, for just normal people, not a corporation, husband and wife, individual person. 7 is liquidation.
7's liquidation. That's probably the most common. Chapter 13's a 3 to 5 year repayment plan. Typically, it's a 5-year repayment plan around here. And that is you got to go to court and such like that to make all that happen. Well, yeah, you go to a creditor's meeting, which is basically you being sworn in and under oath, telling that all the schedules and all the paperwork that you submitted is truthful and accurate. Mm-hmm. And then there's a confirmation hearing where the judge approves the plan that's submitted to the court to pay out your payment that you're paying into the court each month, or to the trustee each month, to pay out to your creditors. And